بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Jazakallah khair everyone for joining tonight. And in my brief talk, the topic I was given was about social justice, which I will speak about. And I wanted to start with a discussion of justice in general. In Islam, justice is woven into every aspect of our religion. The Quran states, وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ. Allah raised up the heavens and established the scales of balance. And many of the scholars have interpreted this to mean that He established justice. أَثْبَتَ عَلَى عَدْلٍ. This concept of balance is very central to the Islamic definition of justice, which entails upholding the rights, hukuk, due to others, and giving what is due to the one to whom it is due, which is Allah. And upholding rights begins in one's relationship with Allah, acknowledging that He's the sole sovereign, the ultimate objective of one's pursuits, and the only one worthy of worship. So one's relationship with Allah has to manifest in the way one deals with others. And there's a tremendous emphasis on upholding the rights of all creation, from one's family, neighbors, human beings, animals, the environment. And in the Quran, it says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ يَعِظُكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. Allah commands justice, excellent conduct, caring for one's relatives. He forbids all forms of immorality, evil, and transgression, and He admonishes you so that you may take heed. And that brings me to the Islamic perspective on social justice. Justice has many dimensions, and there's the vertical dimension, the justice between humans and Allah, and then there's the form of justice between humans among themselves. This includes everything from political, economic dimensions to every little interpersonal interaction between family members, friends, neighbors, and so on. And the Quranic term which best explains social justice is the Arabic term qist, which entails a sense of equality and justice in distribution and a shared social project to ensure that all members of society receive their fair share. Now, the political aspect of justice entails fair governance of people according to what we call shura, or mutual consultation, وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. And there's many sayings of the Prophet ﷺ that one praise the virtues of the just ruler, and also the Prophet ﷺ stated that the most noble struggle is to speak a truthful word in the presence of a tyrannical ruler. So both sides. And there's a very famous story that when the Prophet ﷺ heard about an incident in Abyssinia where an elderly woman was pushed to the ground and no one came to help her. And he angrily stated, how would Allah sanctify a nation that does not protect its underprivileged from its powerful? So that means that the prosperity and well-being of an entire nation are at stake when its members fail to protect those underprivileged from those in power. So in many ways, Islam is fundamentally a faith of activism. In the Quran, it says, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. Enjoining good, the Quran states that one of the characteristics of the believers is their participation in publicly enjoining good and forbidding evil. And in this sense, Islam doesn't allow anyone to be a bystander to any form of injustice. And you're actually morally obligated to personally confront oppression. And in Islamic terminology, we have something called fard kifaya, which is the collective obligation that the community as a whole has to participate in. And then the term fard ayn, which is the individual obligations of a person. So Islam, clearly, just the existence of these two concepts shows that our religion calls upon us we have to work individually and collectively to eradicate injustice on the micro and macro levels. And the Quran also speaks about us having the position of khilafah, or custodianship. He says, وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمْ خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ. And one interpretation of this is that the entire whole of humanity has been given that role of being Allah's appointed deputy on earth. And our mission is to promote the virtue in accordance with His divine plan. So if the basic idea of khilafah within the Quran is that humans are charged with the duty to live up to the moral scale that Allah has sent for us, then in the social sphere, that means that we're obligated to uphold justice, establish His law, and rectify any corruption that we see. And this and this brings me to the ayah that I was assigned to speak about. And one of the most fundamental aspects of Islam's social justice message has been its emphasis on racial equality. And the ayah says, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَىٰ وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعْرَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ خَبِيرٌ. O mankind, we created you from male and female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may get to know one another. And the most honorable of you in the sight of Allah is the most pious. Allah is all-knowing and all-aware. So there's no clearer indication that there's no concept of racial supremacy in Islam, and it is only virtue and piety that makes somebody excel in the sight of Allah, not one's skin color, or ethnicity, or anything else. In the Prophet ﷺ's, his last sermon, he stated that your father Adam, your Lord is one, your father Adam is one. There's no superiority over an Arab, over a non-Arab, or a non-Arab over an Arab. And there's no superiority of a white over a black, or a black over a white. And only piety causes one to excel. We all know the story of Bilal radiallahu anh. He's one of the most iconic examples of Islam's campaign against racism. And it's even difficult to overstate the importance of Islam to the civil rights movement here in the United States, where we're from. Malcolm X in particular, he was particularly inspired by his experience during the Hajj, when he went for Hajj. And there in his autobiography, he writes about how he witnessed people of all ethnic backgrounds united in worship without any distinction between them. And he even wrote that America needs to understand Islam because this is the only religion that erases from society the race problem. And he said that he's never before seen such sincere and true brotherhood by all colors of people, irrespective of their race or ethnicity or color. So just to wrap up, I hope that this discussion today has made it clear for all of us that we as Muslims are obligated and required to establish justice and our deen outside of our homes, and especially as minorities in this land. It's our duty to help build a just society, and we have to bring the light of Islam in any land of dhulm or darkness. So I ask Allah to give us that ability to enjoin good, to forbid evil, and to use us to become the tools of liberating the oppressed all over the world in whatever place and whatever condition that they may be in. So I pray that Allah, He helps all of our oppressed brothers in Palestine. Allahumma mansur al-Muslimin fi Palestine. Allahumma mansur al-Muslimin fi Gaza. Allahumma mansur al-Muslimin fi الصين وكشمير وفي فلسطين. اللهم منصور المسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن أعافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يعز من عاديت ولا يذل من واليت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحان ربك العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين جزاك الله خير.
جزاك الله خير.
جزاك الله خير.
Thank you.